Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final exam review, where we are on question 19 of 100. This problem is a continuation of the previous section where we're dividing a trinomial by a monomial. And we found before that these problems can be a little bit more intellectually challenging than what appeared to be harder problems. We don't say the problems are hard, we say they're challenging. All right. So let's see what we can make of this. We're going to divide 40 n cubed plus 8n squared plus 2n by 8n. Okay, so as before, I'm writing on this tablet, but you need a piece of scratch paper because I'm going to be making some notes about what our game plan is. But if you start writing in this area, you won't have any room for your own solution. So I'm using this area here as kind of my scratch pad because I've got the ability to erase it. You need to be writing these scratch notes somewhere else, preferably on a completely separate sheet of paper. All right, so here's the task. We need to turn 8n into 40n cubed. How do we do it? Well, to turn the 8 into a 40, I can just multiply by 5, because 8 times 5 is 40. And to turn the n into n cubed, I can just multiply by n squared. The product rule for exponents says I'm going to add those exponents, so n to the 1 plus 2 gives me n cubed, and 8 times 5 gives me 40. So if I combine these two together, I'm going to be multiplying by 5n squared. So let's make sure that works before we commit to it. 8n times 5n squared equals 40n cubed. And that's the first term of our dividend. So that's great. So above the 40n cubed, we're going to write 5n squared. So that's the first term of our quotient. 5n squared times 8n equals 40n cubed. Okay. There's no remainder. Bring down the next term, 8n squared. All right, so what do we need to do to 8n to make it be 8n squared? Well, the 8's are fine. We don't have to do anything there. To turn the n into an n squared, I just need to multiply by n. n times n is n to the first times n to the first. Product rule says add them. That's n squared. So the next term of my quotient is just n. So we write plus n. That's 8n squared. Okay, let me make this a little bit neater. And we bring down our final term, which is the plus 2n. So we just write 2n. Now we got to turn the 8n into a 2n. So we don't have to touch those n's, but we got to turn an 8 into a 2. Well, I could divide by 4, but remember, I'm not allowed to divide. I can only multiply. So I've got to multiply 8 times 1/4. And that's going to give me 2. Okay? So the final term of my quotient is just plus 1 over 4. 1/4 times 8n equals 2 in. And there are no remainders here. So this is our quotient, 5n squared plus n plus 1/4. And that's D. Okay, moving on. We will divide 3x cubed plus 2x squared plus 3x by 6x. Okay, so my first task is to turn a 6x into 3x cubed. Okay, so in order to turn the 6 into a 3, I need to multiply by 1/2. Okay, so part of my answer is going to be to take 6 and multiply by 1/2, and that's going to give me 3. And to turn the x into x cubed, I need to multiply that x times x squared, and that will give me x to the 3rd power. So if I combine that together, I'm going to multiply by 1/2, I'm going to multiply by x squared, so I'm really going to be multiplying 6x times x squared over 2. X squared over 2 is the first term of the quotient. So when you multiply that out, you'll get 3x cubed. And those cancel. We can bring down the 2x squared. So now I need to turn 6x into 2x squared. So I'm going to be multiplying that 6 by 1 over 3, and that will give me a 2. And I'm going to multiply that x times an x, and that'll give me x squared. Put it together, you got the 1/3 and the x, so that's x over 3. That's going to be your multiplier to multiply by 6x. We'll check it. We take 6x, multiply by x over 3, and that's going to give me 6x squared over 3. Divide the 6 and the 3, I'm left with a 2x squared. Bingo. So the next term of the quotient is x over 3. We already know that works. This is 2x squared. And bring down the final term, the 3x. So I got to turn a 6x into a 3x. Now we should be really understanding what to do here. We're going to multiply the 6 by 1 over 2, and that's going to give me 3. I don't have to do anything to the x's, so I'm just multiplying by 1/2. So 1/2 plus 1 over 2 is the final term of our quotient, and that's going to render 6x to be 3x, and there's no remainder. So x squared over 2 plus x over 3 plus 1 over 2 is D. Okay, so pure coincidence that the last 4 problems have all been D. I didn't make it that way. Let's see what's coming up ahead. Okay, this is a completely different type of problem up ahead, so I think I'll stop the video here since we're done with polynomial division, and we'll pick it up in the next section in the next video.